Hi, boys and girls. Today we're going to talk about subject-verb agreement. So you've heard your teachers say subject and predicate, or the noun and the verb. This is the same thing. The subject is going to be the noun, and the verb is our action word. So we need to know who is our subject and what are they doing. But to make sure our sentences make sense, we have to use singular with singular and plural with plural. So what exactly does that mean? Let's take a look. So when I'm talking about singular or plural, singular means one item, plural means two or more. And you have learned this. This is going to be a big review for you, but just in case you forgot, if we look at some singular nouns, we have the word cherry, farm, mouse, box, and leaf. That means one item. If I look at the plural version of that, I have cherries, farms, mice, boxes, and leaves. So some of these, all you have to do is add an S. Some of them you need to drop the Y and add an IES. Or for instance, mouse is an irregular noun, so we will change it to mice. So if I'm looking at some rules for subject-verb agreement, let's start with number 1. If a subject is singular, remember subject is my noun, who or what my sentence is about, and singular means one. So there's only one dog or one boy. I need to add an S to my verb. So let's look at the example. The dog walks down the street. We added an S right here. If I said the dog walked down the street, that would not be correct. So let's look at number 2. The subject, remember that's my noun, who or what, is plural. Do not add an S to the verb. The dogs walk down the street. So my subject, I'm talking about more than one dog, two or more. The dogs walk down the street. I did not add an S right here. If I added an S, it would sound weird. The dogs walks down the street. That does not make sense, so we do not need an S. Let's look at rule 3. If the subject is I or you, we don't add an S to that. For example, I walk the dog. I don't need to add an S to my verb. I walks the dog does not make sense. I walk the dog. So in this case, it would be singular and singular. You walk the dog. I'm talking about one person, but the S would not sound correct. You walks the dog would not make sense. And the other rule is linking verbs. So for singular, we have was, has, is, does, and am. If I'm talking about plural, maybe two or more people, were, have, are, and do. So we're going to look at some examples together and try to figure them out. So if you have a piece of paper or a sticky note, I'm going to give you a minute to try to write down the first one. You can just write your answer and just kind of test yourself. Can you remember how to do this? The boy yell or the boy yells? You got it right. The boy yells. So the boy yells. I'm talking about one boy, so that's singular. So that means I would have to add an S to my verb. Let's try the next one. The car honks or the car honk? The car honks. I'm talking about one car. It's singular, so I need to add an S at the end on my verb. Now let's try this one. 9 cows moo or 9 cows moos. So first step, I want you to think about, is my noun singular or plural? Because that is going to determine what we do here. All right, hopefully you got this one right. 9 cows. My first indicator that this is plural is talking about the number 9, so I know that's more than one, and I have the letter S at the end. That makes it plural. 9 cows moo. Remember, I'm not going to add an extra S to the end of my verb, so I would not say 9 cows moos. So if it sounds weird, it probably is not correct. Okay, 3 dogs barks or 3 dogs bark. All right, 3 dogs bark. I have dogs, which is plural, and another hint is it says 3. So you might have a sentence that says the dogs bark. So it might not always have a number in front of it. So you really need to look at the S on the end. If it does not have an S, it's going to be singular. If you see an S, Most likely it's plural, okay? So definitely look at that. So the dogs bark. Okay, our last one. Remember, this is rule number 3. I want to see if you can get that one. I. So think about, is I singular or is it plural? So would it be I talk or I talks? Hopefully you got this one. I talk. I talks does not make sense, okay? So whenever it's I or you, remember you're not going to add an S at the end. I hope this video helps you with your homework. Please reach out to your teachers if you need any help. And great job today, Tigers.